Rev up your engines! Today I'm going to talk about something people are really excited about. It's called adaptive cruise control. You might have heard of it, maybe you got a car with it. I'm going to tell you what it is, how it works, how it has to be fixed, and why a lot of people are going nuts about it. I will turn the active cruise control on this new Toyota Tacoma, and as you can see, radar ready. The system sets itself up while you're using the cruise control system. Now, if you look at the vehicle itself, the cruise control button is the same on this Toyota. You push the button to turn it on. You can put it up to accelerate, push it again to turn it off. It looks the same as my old 2007 Matrix, at least from the outside. You can see, it's got a button to turn it on, accelerate, set button, and the button to turn it off again. It looks the same. So on this brand new TRD Tacoma, it looks exactly the same. It operates the same from your standpoint of turning it on and turning it off. So how does it work? Well, Toyota calls the system Dynamic Radar Cruise Control System. There's radar sensors and cameras in the front of the vehicle. The computer knows what vehicles are in front of you and around you. It uses any of the ADAS system, the advanced driver assistance systems that the vehicle has, to make your car not run into other cars automatically. Now, I know my wife would love it because she's always complaining of Matrix. She doesn't like cruise control because this is a simple, old-fashioned, dumb one. You set it and that's it. When you get too close, you got to turn it off yourself, then you got to adjust. She feels like the car's out of control. With any adaptive type cruise control system, you don't have to worry about that. Say you're going 65 and then you come up on somebody. When you get at a certain distance, it'll slow down, so you stay that distance away from the car. So in the case of this new Tacoma, you don't have to mess with it. You just set it on the dynamic cruise control system that Toyota calls it. And when you get too close, it'll stop accelerating and it'll keep that distance between you and the car. If that car starts to accelerate, yours will automatically go up to the speed you set it. Say you set it at 65 until you get too close again, and then it slows itself down to keep a safe distance. So if they speed up, you'll speed up. If they slow down, you'll slow down. Some of the newer systems will actually stop the vehicle entirely. If you're at some weird situation where you're on cruise control and the car's actually coming to a stop, they can actually stop your car entirely. Now, I mean, I don't trust that stuff myself. I would be watching and hitting the brakes if things start getting close myself. But they have the capability of doing that. I'm not going to personally test that out. I don't want to smash up my son's new truck. But I tried it in normal driving, and it really is a godsend because you don't have to keep turning it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off. And let's say you're sick of the guy in front of you going too slow, but the left lane is open. As soon as you pull into the left lane, it'll go back to the 65-mile-an-hour radar cruise until something else gets in the way. And realize adaptive cruise control is part of an entire network of sensors on the car. All these new Tacomas come standard with a safety suite that includes automatic emergency braking. If you're drowsy or something you don't brake, it will brake itself in emergency situations. It also comes with the drowsy driver warning system. Also lane departure warning. You get out of the lane, you don't put your turn signal on, it'll start beeping at you. Also the adaptive cruise control system itself, and automatic high beam system that if people are coming, you got your high beams on, it'll dim them so you don't blind other people. It's all tied in with a network of computers. So it certainly makes driving much more enjoyable when you're using cruise control. My wife tried it out. She no longer freaked out. She said, oh, look, it's slowing down by itself. I don't have to worry it's going to run into people. And yes, it makes things much more convenient. But of course, as every bit of technology today, it also has a downside. You got all kinds of sensors, computer wiring, computer modules, cost a lot of money to make. They have to have the correct software, and of course, they can break and cost a fortune to fix. But being a Toyota, I rarely see them break of their own accord. Take the Matrix, for example. It's simple, but it's got cruise control, and it still works, and it's a 2007. So we're talking about a 16-year-old car. And my 94 Celica, it's plain basic cruise control still works, and that's 29 years old and it still works. So Toyota makes good stuff, but realize Toyota isn't driving your car or the people on the road who may very well run into you. So when these systems get hit, cameras and sensors inside the car will get broken. They cost a fortune to replace And not only that, you can't put new sensors and stuff on and think it's going to work. If parts of the car were bent, the car will have to be straightened perfectly so they're aligned, but that's not perfect enough for the machine. Then it has to go through what's called an ADAS recorrelation, where you got to use a fancy machine like I have and some real fancy targets. Guys have to do that for a living because it's so intricate. You got to be such a perfectionist about it that you're going to pay a lot of money to fix these systems if you get in a wreck. So make sure you have that kind of coverage on your insurance if you're going to buy one of these cars. You'd be shocked. It could cost you thousands and thousands if you get in a wreck and the system goes down. So make sure you got full coverage. And I'm sure you want to know more, so we'll get on my big old computer here. We'll plug it in, see if it's going to link up. There it goes. Going through the systems, we'll get to the ADAS system for all this stuff. Advanced driver assistance. As you can see, you have to recalibrate the stuff, which includes having these crazy targets, following all these different steps. Now, I don't do this for a living. I don't mess around with this ADAS yet because it costs too much money to buy all the equipment. As you can see, for this function, it is necessary to use the ADAS calibration device produced by ThinkCar and activate software. If requires, contact your dealer. You got to buy all this stuff. My machine's got the software, but I don't have the activation code because I didn't pay for it. Truthfully, if somebody wants to do this, they're going to have a dedicated mechanic to do this particular thing. They got to have a lot of space to use the targets. So, any place that does this stuff, they're going to charge you a lot of money to recalibrate. That's why you got to make sure you have full coverage. It will be taken to a place that will do it correctly because it's going to be very expensive. And sometimes they have to do it over because maybe part of the body's bent too far. They can't recalibrate it, and then they got to rebend the body to make it fit. Once a car gets in a wreck with these complex systems, you can have all kinds of problems. Because considering the expensive machines that are needed in order to reprogram them, the extra equipment that has to be purchased by the mechanics, the software that has to be purchased for these ADAS systems, they are not cheap systems to work on. You want them to work for the lifetime of your car. Make sure you got full coverage. You never know when somebody's going to hit you, and of course, realize another thing. These are computer systems, very low power usage. When you do get in a wreck, it doesn't take anything but a little kink in the wiring to it to ruin the whole system. If you have one of these systems, let's say you get in a wreck, before you sign anything off and say, I'm accepting this repair, so you got to road test the car before I sign anything. Take it for road test and try the radar system out. If it doesn't work or codes come up, say radar system, take it back and say you didn't fix the radar system. Get it fixed before you sign off anything, because as soon as you sign off and they got your money, they'll say, oh, bring it back in, and they'll have it 10 times probably and never fix it right. Make sure it works before you sign off if you're in a wreck. I've had so many customers have crap like that happen. Oh, it doesn't work now. Oh, well, it has nothing to do with us. No, baloney. You take it. If it works and there's no codes, and let's say in the next 3 or 4 days, the radar system codes come off. If it doesn't work, take it right back and say, you guys didn't fix this right, and get documentation that you had to bring it in because it doesn't work right, and make them fix it correctly. But enough of horror stories. Let's take it for a ride and see how it actually works. Now, as you can see, like I say, you turn it on, you push the button, and it's just like anything else. It says radar ready. Then you start driving. We'll set it here at 31, 32. It says 32, so it even tells you on the top what you set it at. So it's just like a regular cruise control. It'll go the speed you want. Now we're going on a straightaway, so we'll accelerate. Up it goes. Then we'll reset it at, say, 58. Okay, there we go, 58. It was 58, 57. You can't get perfection all the time. So it's like all kinds of regular cruise control. But when you come up on somebody, it will start slowing down. As you can see, we're catching up to this car in front of us, and you can see it's starting to slow itself down. 52, 51, it's matching the car in front of us. You can see that guy's going 49 miles an hour. Then if we go to the other lane, now it reaccelerates itself and it's going back to the speed limit we set it in. Pretty cool. But there's one thing I gotta warn you about. The other day I was driving and I was going 55 and a car made a left-hand turn in front of me. It was a 2-lane road. One lane 55, the other 55. They turned in front of me, and when they turned in front of me, they were going kind of slow, and the tail end of their pickup truck was sticking out. This thought that there was a vehicle in front of me and it abruptly started to slow it down. And I thought, what's going on? It's slowing down. Well, it was slowing down because it thought there was a stopped car in front of me because it had no speed at all. The radar knows the other car isn't moving. So be wary of stuff like that. You might get weird look around, say, oh, well, it thinks that thing stopped ahead, so it's going to try to stop itself. It is radar, and it can measure the speed of the other vehicle. So if the other vehicle isn't moving at all and it's close enough to you, it'll slow it down. Realize that. You'll get a few strange things that you would have never thought of. But all in all, hey, it makes driving with cruise control a much more enjoyable experience. Check it out while I'm driving around. Gas prices are coming down. They're down to $3.23 here. So now you know the truth about adaptive cruise control. It really does work quite well, at least in this Toyota. It's an extremely complex system that can cost a fortune to repair when they break if you get in wrecks. Parts would have to be replaced, wiring would have to be fixed, then they have to be reprogrammed by special computers and special sensors. It's not an easy thing to do. So just make sure you got full coverage if you're buying one of these cars with an adaptive system, because if you want to have it forever, it's going to cost a lot of money to fix it if you get in a wreck. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.